Where'd it go? I'm sorry, I overlooked that. Yes, to approve the, I'm sorry, need a motion to approve the consent agenda, items A through I.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? Okay.
So we're gonna do the bids first.
Now we're down to new business, Dr.
All
Smith.
right,
Thank
there we
you,
go.
sorry
All right,
about
thank you.
that.
Denny, you come help me if you will. At this time, we'll begin opening bids. The first bid, these in order. All right, we're gonna try to do these in order. The first bid is for 1639, hunting and fishing, 640 acres. We have one bid from Lane O'Quinn. Is Mr. O'Quinn here? He is. All right, for $12.50 per acre. And did that meet the minimum, Mr. Forberry? Yes. Okay, so one bid for 1639 at $12.50 an acre. So the recommendations for the board to accept that bid.
Is that what it was at least? Yes. Okay.
Is that correct, Mr. Forberry? Yes. Okay.
One more time, Dr. Smith.
Okay, it's, recommendation is to accept the bid of $12.50 an acre for 640 acres for 1639 hunting and fishing from Lane O'Quinn.
That is the only bid?
And that is the only bid, and he is present.
All right, do I have a motion that we accept the bid, on 640 acres for $12.50 an acre?
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right.
All right, thank you. The next bid opening is for 1649, 24.6 acres. This bid is from Roxanne King. Ms. King is present,
Yes.
and this is for $12.50 an acre. And I believe she is the owner, the only bid on that property as well. Did that meet the minimum, Mr. Forberry? Yes. Okay, any other bids? We do not have them, so again, 1649, 24.6 acres, $12.50 an acre from Roxanne King. That would be the recommendation.
She's on the.
Currently on this,
currently-
or currently leasing?
Yes.
She's
That's-
currently leasing.
And that's at least as much as we already did, okay.
Yes, sir. Okay,
Okay, so do we have a motion, to accept the bid, of $12.50 an acre for 24.6 acres?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
all right, thank you. The next item is letter C. This is for 1647, hunting and fishing, 40 acres. This bid is from Allen, Kansas.
Yes.
Down here. 40 acres, the bid is for $9 per acre, and that is the only bid. Does that meet the minimum, Mr. Forberry? Yes. And is Allen the current use of this property? Yes. Okay. So that recommendation is for hunting and fishing, 40 acres for 1647 at $9 per acre. For Allen, Kansas, am I saying that right? Kansas. Allen, Kansas, the current, leasing as well. So that's before the board.
Or do I have a motion that we accept this bid for $9 an acre for 40 acres for 1647?
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you. The next item is 1638, also hunting and fishing. We have one bid. Kevin Timms is present.
He's here.
Okay. That's 80.6 acres for $30 an acre. Does that meet the minimum?
Yes.
Ms. Timms, you the current, leasing of this property?
Yep.
Okay. All right, only one bid, 80.6 acres, 16.38 for $30 an acre. Recommendation is to accept Mr. Timms' bid.
All right, do I have a motion that we accept the $30 for 80.6 acres for 1638?
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next lease is for 1649, it's 180 acres hunting and fishing. 51 bid. Joseph Cole present,
Yes.
$15 per acre, 180 acres. Does that meet the minimum?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the recommendation is for Joseph Cole at $15 per acre, 180 acres, 1649 hunting and fishing.
All right, do I have a motion that we accept, $15 an acre for 180 acres for 1649?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the next bid is for 1647, this is hunting and fishing for 35 acres, and we do have two bids. First bid is from Ruth Humphrey. Ms. Humphrey, are you present?
Yes.
She is bidding $8 an acre, $8 an acre for 1647, 35 acres. We have a bid from Stephen Porter and Williamson Nursery, they present.
Yes.
The bid is for $30 an acre. We have two bids, one for $8 per acre, and one for 30. Does the $30 an acre meet the minimum?
Yes.
Who's the current leaseholder?
Ms. Humphries?
All right, Ms. Humphries has the option of matching that amount. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. Humphries? All right, for the record, Ms. Humphries declines, so the bid will be recommended. Stephen Porter, Williams Nursery at $30 per acre, 1647, 35 acres, that's the recommendation.
All right, do I have a motion to accept the bid of $30 an acre for 35 acres on 1647?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That brings us to our last bid. This is for 1647 hunting and fishing, 114.4 acres. We have one bid. William Jarrell,
I'm his wife, I'm here.
She's on the lease too.
she's on the list.
Yes, sir.
All right, the bid is for $25 per acre. Does that meet the minimum?
Yes, sir.
All right, and she is current leaseholder.
Yes, sir.
All right, so the recommendation is for 1647 hunting and fishing, 114.4 acres at $25 per acre. To William Jarrell. Am I saying that correct? Gerald.
So we need to make like a record of that his wife is here, she is on the lease, even though we're saying that name, but she is here, you did, okay.
Your name?
Jennifer Gerald?
She's on the list.
That's, I just,
Okay, do I have a motion that we accept the bid of $25 an acre for 114.4 acres for 1647?
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Who's the secretary? You need to ask him.
I can see the signature.
I need to sign. You?
STEPHE and for Williams and Nurse.
Okay. So you want me to sign this one?
No, I just give you that for your record.
All right, that concludes our bidding. We thank you for, taking the opportunity to be with us this evening. Mr. Fortenberry will answer any questions you may have regarding your leases. Okay? All right. Thank you, Mr. Fortenberry.
Yes, sir.
Thank you all very
Thank
much for being here. Thank you.
Nice Kathy. Oh, hey, Jane. Yeah. We're just trying to. We're getting old.
So if you ever, then just approach me.
Yeah.
But I ain't gonna do anything.
So,
I just didn't want to get feelings on neighbors, but we're trying to expand our growing operation. I just wanted to.
Come back and do J&K, is that okay?
yeah.
No, I get that, I appreciate it. No loss. Okay, I just didn't want any hard feelings, because y'all are great neighbors, and I want you to tell me that.
All right, Mr. President, Ms. Richardson, you still on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, all right, are we ready to proceed? Good?
Yes.
All right, that brings us down to letter H under new business. Superintendent, well, at this time, Mr. Jackson's gonna step out. Superintendent recommends renewing the athletic facility usage between Southwest Mississippi Community College and the North Pike School District for 1 year. So that's the recommendation before the board.
All right, do we have a motion to approve superintendent's, recommendation H, for the agreement between Southwest and North Pike?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Under letter I, the superintendent recommends the approval of the 25-26 professional staff and classified staff handbooks. Mr. Jackson has recused himself because those handbooks do include our salary scales.
All right, so do we have, a motion to approve letter I, the superintendent's recommendation for the approval of the handbooks?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Dr. Smith, can we skip J and K for now and go to L, so, while Mr. Jackson's out?
Yes,
Is that okay?
I'm good with that. I don't have, that was under D.
It's
correct?
D, it's right on the agenda, it's D.
Donation.
That was for $6,000. Let me see that, so I have something to read from. Thank you. Oh, I have it right here circled. Not bad. All right, superintendent recommends acceptance of a $6,000 donation from Professional Rehab Associates to supplement the certified athletic trainer position. Just as a reminder, this is something that you entered into last year, so this is not new. This will be the second year of this agreement, and this is so that we'll have a certified athletic trainer at our home athletic events. And that person is Carol Ryder. She serves in that capacity, and she is certified.
All right, so do we have a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation for the $6,000 from Professional Rehab Associates to supplement the athletic trainer position?
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let me correct Jamie.
Who did?
Yeah. Second.
Okay.
Sorry, just that.
Format that we had talked about.
Have to have this one, I think, but there's that one.
All right, the next item on the agenda is to approve the 25-26 budget. I do want to, share a few things with you that have transpired since the budget was presented at the public hearing. And I'm gonna try to explain this, and Tina, you feel free to jump in at any time. So, we did receive our allocation from MDE, and that allocation is $318,002 less than what was presented. The reason that it is less is because the no harmless or being held harmless was based on the 2024 dollars and not the 2025 dollars. So we budgeted, our budget was presented based on the 2025 number. But for whatever reason, the hold harmless, MDE has sent us dollars based on the 2024 hold harmless amount. Am I headed in the right direction on this?
Sounds like it.
All right. When we received our allocation for this year, the increase in PERS and the increase in health insurance was included in that number. It's not separate. So when the math works out, we're operating on $318,000 less for 2026.
So
Is that
does
correct?
MDE give us a reason as to why they're using $2024 instead of?
No, not as of now. It was our belief that the hold harmless was based on the 2025 dollars.
Yeah.
What they have allocated to school districts, again, is on the 2024 dollars. So when you look at the printout, many districts across the state are operating on less dollars. Their budgets have been, I guess, cut. Would that be an appropriate word to use?
Yes.
Go ahead and
Okay, so,
make some explanations.
So, last year, when they gave us our allocations, every meeting we both went to said, okay, these are level funding. If you get this year, you're gonna get it 2 more years. It's a 3-year thing. So they were referring to a House bill, but I never heard them say House bill. It doesn't matter. None of that matters now. When they said this, so I was very honest with y'all at the board retreat that I was gonna use level funding because that was gonna be level. And then I was gonna double the PERS increase in the retirement because this is our 2nd year of that. So when I got the numbers, in the reading, it said 2 things that jumped out to me immediately, and this was Friday night. This past Friday night is when they sent it out. And of course, call with any questions, you can't call on Friday night. But it clearly said in the statement that, don't forget, according to House bill passed in 2024, it was held harmless to the 2024 amount. But we all assumed it was the 2025 amount, which was much greater than the 2024 amount. So the held harmless was misunderstood at our level. And we're not the only district.
I was gonna say, I'm sure all
Yes.
the other districts are thinking the
So,
same thing.
so that's the first thing. That's the first thing. And then the second thing was, in the reading was, and here's your amount, it's $1 amount, and we have already factored in any PERS and retirement increases. So they're not sending an extra pot like they did last year. So I was assuming we'd get our money and we'd get a pot and it'd have to go up for 2 years of that pot. But once again, they're hiding the money, and I won't say hiding, they're putting it all in one big pot and saying they took care of everything. So, they really, in their mind, they only cut us $120,000. But when you cut us $120 and then you don't give us those increases, it equals $318,000.
So when we did not get the increases for PERS and health insurance increases, you add that to the $120,000 cut, if you will,
Yeah, they said we got it.
then that equates to $318,000. So what you're looking at now, board members, Tina and I met this morning to find the $318,000 in the budget. These are the recommendations. So when we went, we had the conversation on where we would find the dollars, we went to big ticket items and the personnel, because that's the only way you're gonna find $318,000. So if you would, just let me go through this with you and be happy to discuss this with you. I talked with Mr. Young this morning in regards to this assistant technology position. That dollar amount includes the salary and all benefits. We do have built into the budget roughly $40,000 for third-party help that will assist Roland throughout the year. So we do have that built into the budget. We've had that in the budget for a couple of years now. This is where he can call an outside company to come in and assist him when needed. So that is budgeted at $40,000, and we're under that budget this year, if I'm not mistaken. I think we spent.
This year, E-rate paid for it.
E-rate paid for
So
it.
the district is having to pay this year.
So that was one item that was discussed. The second was removing the sixth grade vacancy unit. If you recall, I mentioned that to you, we had a late resignation, and because of enrollment numbers, we did not fill that position. When we presented the budget to you, last week, that unit was in that budget. We were kind of hiding that unit just in case. We went ahead and removed that unit. We did save an extra teacher unit is still in the budget. In case we do have an enrollment increase, I wasn't comfortable removing another teacher unit, but we do have that teacher unit in the budget. The computer assistant vacancy is at the high school. I talked to Mr. Collins about that this morning. That is Pam Alexander's position, so we would not fill that position. That has been removed from the budget. That was in the budget that was presented to you. The other item, the large ticket item, is the removal of the 14 passenger bus. That gets us a big chunk of it there. And then the $42,000 is removed from the technology equipment budget. Let me explain that to you just briefly. If you recall, I mentioned we had $175,000 in the technology budget to begin replacing our Chromebooks. We do have some title money that will offset that $42,000. So we're still roughly at $175,000. Just some of those dollars now will come out of title and not district. So that's where we made up the $318,000. Now, what I would like to just bring to the board's attention is this, and this is something that you're going to face in executive session. So I'll try to skirt around this just a little bit. The $90,000 that you directed us to budget for that purchase is still in the budget. Just know that those dollars are there. We're reducing teacher units, a technology assistant position, to be able to keep that in the budget. So whatever the board wishes on that, I just want you to be aware of that. Because I didn't want you to vote on anything, without the full knowledge of what's going on. So the $90,000 is still there for that, purchase. So we didn't touch that. So I say that because if you want to back off that or discuss that, then we'll take your directive on that. I'm comfortable with having just one teacher unit in the budget. Feel a lot better if we had two. But in essence, what we're doing here is reducing personnel. No one's losing their job, obviously. It's just positions we're not filling.
Do you think there's gonna be a need to have an extra teacher unit, to remove that unit?
Well, let me just, for clarity, the position that was removed from the budget is the sixth grade position, that can be absorbed because our enrollment is much lower there. So I'm comfortable with that. We still have a unit that's built into the budget for emergencies in case more kids show up than we anticipate. So that's still there. So I didn't cut both of those, I just cut one position there. But in essence, what you see before you is three warm bodies. In essence, is the way I look at it. The assistant technology position has been in the budget for a couple of years now. Of course, Pam Alexander has been in the budget, so we've removed that position, and then cutting the teacher unit at the upper.
All right, so the other thing I have a question about, since we are going to cut the assistant technology director's position, I know you said we have $40,000 that we use for outsourcing. Is there any way, because I'm just in my mind with the things that are going on with the district, and Mr. Young can elaborate a little bit more, you, somebody. is there any way we can have that second person, but just not call them an assistant director at a lower rate? Because I'm thinking two bodies instead of one, he's gonna be
Well, this is what,
spread thin.
and Mr. Young and I talked about this, and I'll let him speak for himself and speak freely. There's no room for him to have both.
Right.
And we utilize, the outsourcing with Synergetics a lot. And so the 40,000 that we've allocated for that, will not be there if we hire a second position. So it's a double-edged sword, some aspect. Mr. Young, you speak freely. We had this conversation this morning, and we've had it multiple times.
Yes, sir. From my perspective, as far as what I need at the moment, as far as things going on in the district, it's gonna be mostly more on the network side, as far as entering students in the SAMs, creating badges, making sure things are running smoothly on the network side of things. As far as the hard-working labor side of things, with the adjustment in the budget, I said with Dr. J, Mr. Steve has been helping me a lot when it comes to hooking up TVs, printers, and those things of that nature. So what I suggested, or what I'm saying is, I can get by with Steve helping me do some things as far as the hard-working labor side, as far as those type of things. But if I can have somebody helping me on the network side while I'm doing those things, I can pretty much handle all of that. Since what we're dealing with right now with the budget.
So Mr. Steve is the maintenance person? How is his schedule? Cause I've been worried about that as well, because I'm like, that's one person covering all of the buildings and all of the schools. That's gotta be a lot for him. And then to take and put him on the same side of helping with technology is gonna be spreading him really thin. I'm just asking the questions because I'm concerned about that. And I've been concerned about that for a minute, just hadn't said anything about it, because I was wondering if we could possibly have a part-time person to help him with all the things that's going on with the buildings. And now we're saying we're gonna have him working part-time with technology? That's a lot.
Can I speak freely?
Sure.
We can possibly solve that concern, but we can't solve it if you purchase
The land?
what you're discussing, the
Yeah.
purchase. That's $90,000 that's in your budget for that.
We don't feel like the money is gonna change next year, but didn't you say something about we're locked in this for 3 years? It's not like they're gonna give us an extra 300,000 next year that we're not getting this year.
Speak freely.
I will. We have no idea how MD comes up with.
Every year's different, isn't it? Okay.
I've been here 30 years, and unless I go work for them and see their spreadsheet, I'm not sure I'll ever know where the amount truly comes from. Because they provide us with a formula that gives us full funding and we don't get it. So, how they get from full funding to what they give us is on them.
So we don't get to question them about the amount that we get, I mean, because that's concerning.
I wonder if we would have the same opportunity in a year that we might have now. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Can we discuss this in executive
Right,
session?
but we need to approve the budget before we go there, that's the reason I asked that.
Well, let me just share, just a thought with you. Mr. White is right, the budget has to be approved tonight, one way or the other. So the way the budget would be approved tonight is, the way it's been presented, and then you will direct us to make the changes and then be brought.
We could approve this now, and if we choose to make a change, we could do that in
So
next
why
quarter.
can't we just,
That's right.
why
Can't
can't
we
we just
move it?
wait and come out of executive
That's what I'm
session
saying, why
and
can't
come
we
back
move
to
We
it?
the
can, you can,
executive session?
you can vote
Let's
to,
Yeah.
table this
Yeah,
for
let's
now.
just table.
You can come
And
back.
then come back out of
Yeah.
executive session and
Absolutely.
discuss this.
Let's stop
Because I think we
handcuffing
need-
ourselves.
Yeah, I
before
think we need to
mess.
discuss that part before we make a decision as to what we're gonna do.
All right, do I have a motion that we, table this, this item on the agenda until after our executive session?
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, the next item is the transfer of funds. That's letter K on your agenda. Tina, you want to say any words about this?
These transfers that we have on this right here, as soon as I get my hands on here. These are routine for us to close out the special education fund, the state vocational fund, and the federal vocational funds. Obviously, these programs can't operate without the district, so we always do a transfer at the end of the year, to cover the salaries and fringe benefits not covered from the state. The next one is extended year. That one you will, this is the second year of seeing that. Extended year is the summer program that we have. It's also not 100% funded. So, this is for summer of '24. We're just finding out that it was not totally funded. And that's normal for extended year. It's not a 100% program. So this was to close out the 2024 summer. And that's the 4 transfers we will need for the 24-25 budget to close out. So these are pretty much routine, once we know that, the final payrolls have been completed.
Any questions, board members? So that recommendation is to approve the transfer of funds as recommended by Financial Officer Tina Griffin.
All right, do we have a motion that we approve the transfer of funds, letter K?
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
All right, thank you. That brings us down to items of discussion. Just a few things that I do want to mention that I think I may have mentioned back at the board retreat. Just a reminder that all directors, administrators, assistant principals, the vast majority of us will be at our summer conference beginning Friday, July the 11th through July the 16th. So the district will be pretty much absent of administrators that week. That is the same conference that we attend every year. Registration begins next week, board members. We have that set aside for multiple days, AM and PM, so we've been as trying to be as convenient for parents as we can. I know that Mr. Jackson has got his multiple phone calls about that. Mr. White, you've gotten yours. Ms. Wilson, you should have gotten some about registration. It's the automated
2-3 weeks
system. So we've been sending out that twice a week for how many weeks, Mr. Jackson?
I'll have to ask Gary, because it's long time, Chris.
They're also been on our Facebook page. Also, if you go to the district website, you cannot proceed until you read the statement there that tells you when those dates are and where to find the additional information. So that begins next week. I don't have all those dates in front of me, but it's 2 days for the next 3 weeks. Each 2 days each week for the next 3 weeks, I believe. So multiple opportunities. Ms. Tapper?
I got a call from one of the parents, a set of parents, that was concerned about their homestead exemption or the category, that first category, because I think we used to have like 6 things and now we only have 2. Because they were like, well, okay, my house is paid for.
And then they will bring in their tax receipt. They're still paying taxes on that property, so they'll bring in their tax receipt for that property.
Okay.
So we've had those calls too.
Okay.
So one of the things that concerned us a little bit in trying to fight some of the residency issues is I have old deeds in my house of homes and properties that I own at one time that I no longer own. So the deed is really not worth anything in terms of proving residence, but if they truly own their home, they're still paying taxes on that. So that was the reason for that. So if you get any of those calls, if you'll just send me a text message or call me, if there's anything I need to do to help resolve the situation for a board member, just let me know. I'll be glad to do that. Just call me directly and we'll work through that. Ms. Taplin, I'm already aware of the family that I know is in the district.
Yes.
But special circumstances there, just remind me of who that is, and I'll try to relieve her frustration this year, so she doesn't experience that same thing. All right, the next thing, teachers, just a reminder, teachers do return on July the 25th, kids on August the 4th. I mentioned that because we will not see each other again until August the 7th. So by the time we have our August meeting, the teachers would have been back a week and the kids would have already started. So just a reminder of that. So with that, I think our board retreat kind of speaks for itself. Was very pleased with that, and certainly the hospitality of MSBA, so we greatly appreciate that. And we'll thank the board members for sharing that time with us. So with that, Mr. White, we're ready for executive session.
All right, so I have a motion that we come out of, open general session.
Motion to close session.
Second.
All in favor? Now, do I have a motion that we consider going into executive session?
Motion to consider going executive session for legal matters.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And do I have a motion that we go into executive session to consider legal matters?
Motion to go into executive session for legal matters.
Second.
All in favor?